You're a Twinkish Catboy, and being a Twinkish Catboy is okay. Send this to someone who's a Twinkish Catboy.
Oh, it's the kid giving words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we are well. My God, is it good to be back in this seat and just laying down a good old-fashioned solo episode for you guys on this lovely Monday morning. So, how are we all? I hope we've all been well in my absence. Oh my God, I cannot talk properly. This is a good start, guys. I was supposed to say absence, but I said absinthe, which Ash still hasn't finished that bottle up there. So, Ash, get your ass to the studio and finish that bad boy right now. Before we rip into everything that has been going on in my life, let's have another look at this opening clip. What the fuck did we just watch?
You're a Twinkish Catboy, and being a Twinkish Catboy is okay. Send this to someone who's a Twinkish Catboy.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Send that to someone who's a Twinkish Catboy. I don't know, something about the way that like the pacing and the tone that guy was talking, it felt like an early 2000s Eminem song, you know, where he's like, come on, boys and girls, now, let's be quiet. It just felt like that to me for some reason. But yeah, this bloke is just in a full gay furry costume, just talking like he's RuPaul's support animal. Far out. If you know someone that could use that video on a Tuesday morning, send that to them, guys. Send that to them, and let's see if we can boost some of these furry spirits. But, yeah, where do we start? I think it would only be right. Actually, let's start with what the fuck happened this morning, and then we'll get to where I was last week, why I couldn't grace you guys with a solo episode. I mean, I did touch on it before I left, but, hey, we'll get to it. But this morning, I took a little trip down to the M1, back down to Burleigh. So, last time I was in Burleigh, I got my ass kicked by Maddie Carvosso from the Mayraki podcast. And this time, I got a DM late last week, and it was from another Maddie who also wanted to meet me in Burleigh. And I've gone, look, I don't have a good success rate in Burleigh against blokes named Maddie, but fuck it. Content is content, right? So, Maddie Rogers from Bloke's Advice and the Better Bloke Project, reached out to me, and he goes, hey, I've got a fight coming up this week, and obviously you're trying to do the whole undisclosed boxing event series. Do you want to come down Monday morning and do a couple of rounds with me? So he has a big fight this Friday night up against Callum Von Moga. So if that name rings a bell to some of you guys, he was a huge bodybuilding figure back in the day when me and my mates used to like hit the gym hard, would get into all the fucking, look, it was super homoerotica now that I look back at it, and we were just admiring guys' physiques on our phone going, oh my God, I want to look like Jizz, bruh. But yeah, Callum Von Moga, probably, I don't know if this is an accurate statistic, but I would imagine he is probably the most successful Australian bodybuilder, like to come out of Australia. So he won Mr. Universe, I think it was 4 times. He played Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie. The list goes on of just achievements this bloke had. And then he just had a bit of a downward spiral, I suppose. His brother committed suicide, I believe. Just a long list of unfortunate events happened to this bloke, and he just seemed to fall off. But, yeah, he has now had a couple of fights under his belt, and Maddie has taken him on this Friday at somewhere up on the sunny coast. So I believe there's still tickets available. But shot down there, did a couple of rounds with Maddie, and my God, my fucking cardio. I have the cardio of a sloth. I've got a solid 30 seconds in me, you know? I just look, and I know how to fix it. That's the annoying thing. But who the fuck wants to do cardio? It is the most boring thing in the world. My brain cannot stay focused for long enough to just either run in a straight line or just fucking sit on an assault bike, go on an elliptical. It's just boring to my brain. But yeah, I just gas so quickly. And yeah. Got hit a couple of times, forgot my mouth guard, which is, it's tremendous. That's not what you want in the middle of a fight. But hey, is what it is. We got over it. We got it done. Let's crack open our Celsius before we rip into where the fuck I was last week. Oh, yeah. What do we got here? We've got Sunset Vibe this week. So, cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, God, I fucking love that shit. Hey, here's a little tip to young players. Woolworths has them on special at the moment. $2 a can. What the actual fuck? I didn't know that until Adrian came over on the weekend with an esky full of Celsius, and he was like, I've got the hookup, bruh. Oh, God, it's wild. It's wild that a guy that used to come to my house every week to do the podcast used to rock up with fucking 10 packs of rum or something or a bottle of whiskey and would just used to polish that off. And now he's like rocking up. He's like, shh, don't tell anyone, but I have approximately 20 Celsiuses in this esky right now. And maybe we could sneak in your garage and we could knock a couple off together. You know what I mean? So, yeah, anyone that wants to get on the Celsius train, or maybe you haven't even tried it yet, go to your local Woolworths, get a couple of cheap cans. I think I converted Ash. He had a Celsius for the first time on the weekend, and he was like, wow, this is actually pretty fucking good. So, anyway, just stalling the inevitable right now. Let's get the fuck on with it. I'm going to take another sip, and then we're going to go. So, last week, you guys obviously didn't have a solo episode. So, I appreciate all the love that we got on the episode with MMA Hot Mic and the UFC breakdown. So, still released 2 episodes for you guys. Hopefully, that was enough of me dribbling to tie you guys over till this week. But the reason I couldn't get a solo episode out, we went on a family holiday to Sydney. So, first family holiday in I don't know how fucking long. But look, straight off the bat, it was fun. We all enjoyed it. Cracking time. But in the same breath, I don't know if we're necessarily a holidaying family. Oh, God. Look, I definitely, I thrive. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, why do you do so much shit? How do you get everything done? Yada, yada, yada. That's where I, like, thrive the most. I love chaos. I love just, like today, for example. I had sparring with Maddie. I got the solo episode to record, edit, post. Then I got a guest episode at 12 o'clock where I've got to drive to them. So I've got to set up all the gear, record it, pack it down, then get back before the kids get here. Then I've got to finish all the socials and shit. Like, today is just I love it. Like, as chaotic as today is, I'm loving every second of it. Just because I've got to be in 1,000 different places at once, and my brain is just literally in my head right now. There's numbers and shit. It's like, oh my God, if you don't leave by this time, I love it. So, when I go on a holiday and maybe there isn't so much to do, like, there's things to do, but it's all like leisurely activities, you know? Like, you go to the zoo for a few hours and that's all you've got to do. It's like, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, ferry leaves at 4:30. We've got to get back to the dock by then. It's going to take us 20 minutes to walk back down there. But if the boys want an ice cream before we go to the ferry, that's going to add another 10 minutes into the trip. So that's how I just kept my brain. Nikita and the kids are looking at the gorillas and shit, and I'm just doing a real life timetable in my brain, just to keep the cogs turning. So that's where I'm at. But I'm glad I wasn't alone. Like, Westy was the exact same way. I don't know what the go was, but he was just homesick from the second we touched down in Sydney. He was just like, can we go home yet? And it's like, dude, we're fucking looking at the Opera House right now. There's kids in the world that would fucking kill for this view. We're walking we're driving over the Harbour Bridge right now. You're looking at the giraffes that are overlooking all of Sydney at Taronga Zoo. And you want to go back home to Logan to fucking play Roblox with your friends. You need to fucking relax, all right? So I'm just glad he was there to make me look less pessimistic on the family holiday. So, and in saying that, I got a little vibe from Nikita. Maybe she was feeling a similar way, because on Sunday she was trying to plan out. We flew out on Monday, but our flight didn't leave Sydney until 7 o'clock at night, and I was like, oh, okay, because the plan was we would just spend that extra day in Sydney doing shit. But by Sunday, we'd pretty much done everything we wanted to, because we were just jumping around from thing to thing. We went to the zoo, we went to the aquarium, we went to Bondi, We checked out the Opera House. We checked out the bridge. We did all the Sydney touristy shit, okay? We caught the ferries. We caught the underground train. Every type of public transport you can do in Sydney, we ticked it off. So Nikita's jumped on and seen if we could like change our flights to an earlier time. She's like, oh yeah, it's only going to cost us $140 or something. And I'm like, just do it. Book it in. Then we would have flown out about 9 a.m. Monday morning, got home. We could have spent the whole day here unpacking, getting shit done. I might have even had time to jump in here and do a solo episode. And then she's gone to the checkout and she's like, oh, wait, that's each. It's going to cost us like $600 or something with fees and blah, blah, blah to get back. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. I guess we've just got to spend another day in this hellhole of Sydney. Shout out to all my Sydney listeners. But let's get on to a couple of stories that we've got there. I don't really have any like Sydney stories. They just all revolve around like my family and just weird shit that I jotted down while I was down there because I was like, oh, here's some classic podcasting stories. So last day we were down there, we said to Nikita, we said to the boys, we're like, do you guys want to go to like a souvenir shop? Because I don't know if anyone else with kids listening, whether your schools are similar, but whenever one of the boys' friends goes on a holiday or something, they come back with some sort of little trinket, just like a $10 thing that they've bought from a souvenir shop or something, and it's like, oh, it's fucking crazy. So we go to the boys, we go, okay, do you want to go to the souvenir shop, get something for your friends before we go? They go, yeah, let's do it. They're losing it. Sickest time ever. This is the highlight of their holiday. So we go to the souvenir shops on the harbour there. There's like 10 to choose from, right? We're looking at all the usual things, classic tourist memorabilia, if you will. There's fridge magnets. There's boomerangs. There's maps of Sydney. There's all the usual shit. And then most Australians would realise sometimes there's some little gag gifts in souvenir shops like this, okay? And one of those big Australian gag gifts that you can get is a kangaroo scrotum bottle opener. And I've clocked these bad boys as soon as I've walked in the shop. I've gone, oh, look at that set of kangaroo nuts over there. And secretly, I wanted to get them. But I was like, oh, I can't do it. So the boys are looking at all this boring shit. And I knew. I go, both boys are going to love this. But I know Parker's going to love this the most. He's going to think this is the funniest thing in the world. So I go, hey, P, come over here. He's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, want me to show you something funny? He's like, okay. So I walk him over to the stand and I go, do you know what that is? He's looking at it. And he's like, nah, I don't know what that is. And I go, it's a kangaroo ballsack. Oh, kangaroo ballsack. Could that be the episode title? And his face just lit up and he starts laughing hysterically. He's like, I need to get one. And we're like, I don't think you can give your friend a kangaroo scrotum bottle opener, okay? And he runs straight over to his brother. He goes, Westy, you need to come and check this out right now. So he gets his 8-year-old brother, Westy, over to the kangaroo ball sacks. And Westy's looking at it. And me and P are like, do you know what it is? And we're waiting for it to clock for him. He's like, nah. And Westy does what neither of us did. And he reaches out and he ever so gently just starts caressing. Just starts caressing the kangaroo ball sack. Oh, and straight away, me and P start pissing our pants. And I did not expect this next thing to happen, but Parker starts running around the souvenir shop at the top of his lungs, chanting, Westy touched a ball sack, Westy touched a ball sack. And just seeing all these tourists just looking at our family like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, why are they getting so excited about these, like, ball sacks? It sounded like we were doing PR for Australian kangaroo ball sacks. That should be who should come and sponsor this podcast, is the Australian Tourism Committee for kangaroo ball sack bottle openers, okay? I will push those bad boys like anything. It sounded like I was the ringleader of some sort of bestiality pyramid scheme. Oh, fuck me. But pretty safe to say we quickly got our selections. We didn't end up getting it. We let Parker get... This is potentially even worse, I would argue. He ended up getting a real-life kangaroo paw, which was creepy and fucking weird. And he's just walking around with it like it was the coolest thing in the world. Just a dead, hacked-off kangaroo paw. I was like, kind of weird, but He's into weird shit. But let's have another sip, and I'll let you know some other weird stories. All right. So I've actually got these around. Oh, no, if I tell these this way, it'll kind of make sense. Let's go. So we got to the airport. Like I said, we flew out 7 p.m. We ended up getting to the airport at like 3 p.m. because we just ran out of shit to do. The hire car had to be back by a certain time. And so we could get back to the airport. We go to check in. And the lady's like, oh, your flight you can't progress through the gates until 4 p.m. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So we had to go back downstairs just to the where all the baggage carousels and shit like that are. And we finally had 4 seats clear up for us to go and sit on. So we race over, we're sitting there. And once we've sat down, we've very quickly realised that we've sat under the departure board where all the flight times and all that sort of shit is all there, right? So we're directly under that. We were basically, the amount of dicks and crutches... We were basically invisible to the common punter in the airport, okay? Because they were walking straight up to my face to read the board that was above my head. I could smell so many dicks and assholes, okay? While they were just like, oh, okay, Townsville leaves at 4 p.m. And I'm just like, dude, you need to go and have a shower before 4 p.m. because your dick stinks like shit. I had more dicks in my face that night than a bloke at a Bucks night, okay? That's how many dicks were in my face. Actually, that doesn't even make sense. Oh, I just fucked that up. A bloke at a gay Bucks party. Let's say that, okay? Because then they would have a dude stripper. But then the inevitable happens. A very aggressive mother walks up to check the times, and her son, look, off the bat, her son didn't throw up any red flags for me. He just seemed like a curious son to me. Like, asked a question that my sons would probably ask on the daily. He walks up to his mum. She's trying to read the board, and he goes, so where do we need to be, mum? And she snaps. I don't know if this kid had done something bad on the way to the airport or something. She snaps straight away. She's like, shut the fuck up. She's like, can't you fucking read the board? And I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, it's taken you like 5 minutes to stare at this board. So I'm starting to question if you can read this board. She's like, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, bro, you need to relax. And I just felt so fucking awkward. I felt emotionally responsible for this kid just getting berated by his mother. And this kid's just got the shits and he's just walked away from his mum. I don't even know if he ended up getting on the correct plane. You know what I mean? I feel partially responsible if that dude ended up in Papua New Guinea or some shit. But we ended up progressing through to the next stage of the airport. And like I said, we were there hours before our flight. So we're trying to keep the boys entertained. Nikita goes, I'll take them to like one of the little shops that are in the airport there. And I sat there. I was doing something on my laptop. I think I was like clipping up the Hayes Happy clip for last week. And they get back and Parker landed on a little die-cast model of the plane, okay? Cool. Looks exactly like the plane we're getting on. He can sit there quietly and just pretend to fly that thing through the air, okay? It was like drunk Adrian and Ash at the 2009 S&M Christmas party where we got Macca's toys and we're sitting in Nikita's backseat pretending that we were flying our little Iron Man toys. That's pretty much what it was like. Anyway, Westy had to get the next step up, okay? And I don't blame him. He had to keep his brain entertained for ages. This kid's obsessed with Lego, so he gets a Lego model of the plane. But it's not legit Lego. It's like home brand Lego, okay? So the instructions, they're a little bit average. Let's just say that. And like I said, I was doing something on the laptop and I go, hey, do you want me to help Westy? And Nikita goes, no, I've got it. I'll nail this. And I've gone, okay, let's see how this goes. So I keep doing what I'm doing. And they finish about 20 minutes later. Nikita taps me on the shoulder. She goes, I think we need some help. And I've gone, oh, okay, no worries. Show us what you've got. And she hands me two halves of the plane. So she's got the front section of the plane and she's got the back of the plane, both perfectly built, I might add, but they're not joined together. Like, it looks like they've just fucking... they've built like a crash site of a plane. This plane has split in half mid-air and it is on an episode of what's that thing? Airplane Investigation or some shit? Airport Investigation. What's that show from back in the day? But it didn't look good. This plane had been through some shit. And I was like, well, I think you might have missed a step or something. She's like, nah, all the pieces are in there, so clearly it's the instructions or something that are wrong. She's like, maybe it just gets held together with the stickers. I'm like, no, that's not a possibility. No Lego model in history would ever be held together with the stickers. So I start having a look, and I'm like, oh, you've missed this step, the joining step. And she goes, oh, all right. I go, well, I've got to pull the whole thing apart. And she's like, oh, well, the main thing is at least I finished it. And I'm like, technically speaking, you didn't finish it because now I've got to pull the whole thing apart and do it properly. And she's like, well, I mean, I did all the steps and not my fault. I'm like, someone needs to read a Jocko Willink book right now and take some responsibility for this this air crash investigation. Anyway, couple more stories. This one, I lost it at this one. We got to the hotel on Friday or whenever it was, and straight away, we get all comfortable. We're chilling out, making ourselves at home. And Nikita is an avid tea drinker, okay? She will smash like 4 teas a day, just like an elderly woman. And she gets to the hotel room, she boils the jug, and she's sitting there, she's sipping her tea ever so elegantly. And then it's clocked to me. I've seen her doing it. I'm like, how the fuck did you make a tea in the hotel room? So I hit her up. I just openly say it. I go, hey, how'd you make your tea? And she goes, oh, we got a jug over there in the corner. And I've gone, uh-oh. So apparently, and this might even come as a surprise to a lot of guys listening to this podcast, but I don't think a lot of women would be very aware of this little prank that some men play in hotel rooms, okay? This could even be, hey, send into the show if you don't know about this, because I might be blowing people's minds right now. Because I said to Nikita, I go, hey, I don't want to gross you out right now, but it's a pretty common prank for dudes to jizz in the jug before they leave a hotel room. And then they get that fucking happiness as they're the next day and they're just sitting there thinking, I wonder who's boiling my jizz right now and drinking it. I've never done it. I want to say that. I've never fucking done it, but I've heard a couple of people who have done it and I've gone, that is weird and disgusting, but somewhat funny, okay? And if that ever happened to me, I'm just glad I don't drink hot drinks. But she has started gagging straight away. She started gagging as if she has tasted some of it, okay? That's how she was carrying on. And I've gone, that's disgusting. And she's fucking spitting it out and just tipping it down the sink. I'm like, hey, I'm not saying that someone did it. And she's like, that's fucking disgusting. I hate you. I'm like, I didn't do it. I was just giving you some warning that is a potential prank that some dudes could play. Jizz in the jug. Could that be too on the nose for an episode title? Far out. Anyway, last little story. I don't even know if this one... Let's make this one quick and then we'll get on to some real stories from the week. Like I said, we had a hire car in Sydney and I just want to say, fuck Sydney roads. Jesus Christ. It was like a punishment from God having to drive this hire car around Sydney. The maps were just having a fucking... They were recalculating every 2 seconds like they were having a stroke or something. And then on top of that, I'm trying to direct through the Sydney streets, which are... Sydney has some weird street signs, okay? And then I've got Nikita saying, oh, why don't you just do this? Or, oh, why are you doing that? Oh, why are you doing this? I'm like, do you want to fucking drive? And she's like, oh, can't drive. My name's not on the hire thing. And I'm like, okay then, righto. Then I got the boys in the back. How long till we're at Bondi? Oh my God, what's taking so long? And I'm ready to snap. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm going to turn this car around. I'm going to drive straight back to Brisbane. Anyway. We do it all. We do all the driving we need to do, okay? And we land back in Brisbane. We walk all the way to the car. We're all stoked. We're finally home. We get in the car. I turn the ignition on and I go to pull out of the car park and I just hear Westy from the back seat just let out a big exhale of air. And I've gone, what's up, buddy? And he just ever so deadpanly, just calm, relaxed, just says to the car, oh, at least Dad knows how to drive this one. And I've snapped. I snapped instantly. I go, well, if no one likes my fucking driving, you can all catch the train home. Why don't we all catch the air train? Woo, woo. Oh, that one will ring a bell to all my Brisbane listeners when the air train first came in. That was the most annoying radio ad in history. But yeah, that basically sums up the family holiday, guys. I hope you guys got some humor out of that. Let's get on to another Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. Before we go into what the fuck has happened to me in the last week or so, since we've been back into regular programming. So let me drag this across because I will just play it while I have my sip just to avoid any dead air. So let's go.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Gobble, 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 gobble. Sound like a chicken on her. Sound just like a rooster on her.
What the fuck is that guy mumbling? Just mumbling gobble gobble, just like a Thanksgiving nightmare. I think it was Thanksgiving last week in America. So if that's what Thanksgiving is all about over there, I don't know if I'm keen to come over as much anymore. So let's move on with the rest of my week. This cracked me, okay? Hopefully you guys get some humor out of this one. Okay, let me get a straight face before I start and just fix myself in this seat. So Parker had his Christmas party last week for daycare, and Nikita goes, I'll just take him. You pick Westy up from school. I think Westy, that's right, Westy had touch. So she's like, you pick Westy up, take him to touch, I'll go do the Christmas party. I'm like, sounds good to me. So she gets to the Christmas party at daycare, and then she tells me what has happened, okay? Now, typical daycare Christmas party. They got games for the kids, they've got activities, they got all this stuff. Nikita gets there. Apparently all the activities and stuff were full. So she sees over in the corner a face painting station. So she goes, I'll just go over there and I'll paint P's face. And then by the time we do that, one of the other activities will be freed up. So she walks over there. P, take a seat. She sits in the chair. She gets the face painting brush and stuff. And she's painting all this Christmassy stuff on Parker's face. Now, as she's doing this, a lady starts walking back over there, and as the lady's approaching her, dressed as a fucking fairy or some shit, or as a Christmas elf, it clocks in Nikita's brain that this is not just like a free use face painting station. This is like, this lady has been hired to come and paint kids' faces, and now Nikita's just taken her chair and just freely using her paint on her son's face. So now the hired face painter has had to walk over and wait for Nikita to finish Parker's face just so she could have all her equipment and her seat back. Apparently Nikita felt so fucking awkward. It made me laugh so hard. Oh, God. Oh, I don't know. I was hoping that... That's a prime example for one of those stories that I thought was going to be piss funny. But then as I was saying it, I was like, where am I going with this? But anyway, let's break it up with this before we do get on to a couple other things. Spotify Wrapped came out this week. Spotify Wrapped just made us all naturally think that we were influencers for about 24 hours and that everyone wanted to hear what the fuck we had listened to that year. So I figured, I shared mine on my stories, so if you follow me on socials, you would have already seen it. But I figured, hey, why not let the listeners know what I listen to on a regular? So I was pretty happy with my Spotify Wrapped this year. It was less embarrassing than last year's. So my top artists, number one, Honest Dave. Now, a lot of people probably don't know who the fuck he is. So I basically pick one of his songs every week to play as the background song on my stories for the podcast. And he's just like a new up and coming artist from the States that I think is going to blow up in the next couple of years. Now, he is coming to Australia next year. He is MGK's opening act for MGK's Australian tour, which is fucking crazy. So a big goal that I want to set myself in 2026, and I'm going to need you guys to help. I'll probably put a reel up at the start of next year or something and get you guys to tag him in the comments. But I want to try and get Honest Dave on the podcast. That would blow my fucking mind. He's probably not at that big enough stage where he's like out of reach. Like, I'm not trying to get MGK on the podcast, but I feel like this dude will blow up that big in a matter of time. So he was my number one. Number two was NF. Number three, MGK. Number four, Justin Bieber. And number five, Eminem. So, I don't know. A lot of white boy rappers in there, which, hey, I was happy with that. But Honest Dave took out my top 5 songs. So that just shows how much I listen to him. And top podcast for this year. It's only right, since I'm a podcaster, I tell you guys what the fuck I'm listening to. So, number one, second year in a row, we've got the Dogs. We've got Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. So I think I went back and pretty much listened to their whole back catalogue again this year. They knocked Mr. Rogan off his perch. Rogan was my top one for so many years in a row. So Rogan's number 2. Hello Sport is number 3, which actually surprised me a little bit. This has been my first full year of like religiously listening to Hello Sport. So I fucking love those boys, punters and dribblers. Number 4, the podcast that got me into the podcasting game, The Fighter and the Kid. And then number 5, the man himself, Mr. Theo Von, with This Past Weekend. So again, I was pretty happy with that top 5 of podcasting. So here's look, this took me by surprise. It didn't actually, now that I think about it, but it took me by surprise that people would actually reach out and say this shit. I had 3 people message me after I posted my top podcasts this year, and all 3 of them basically said, wow, you openly admit to listening to Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub. That's embarrassing. And these people are in the comedy scene, and I'm like, what the fuck? I literally replied to them. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy to me. That is crazy that, I don't know. It just blew my mind. I don't know if that blows your guys' mind, but shows where the Australian comedy scene is at, okay? And yes, I understand Rogan's not everyone's cup of tea, but he has the number 1 podcast in the world. It's not like I'm the one boosting his numbers. It's not just me listening to him. And Brendan Schaub, he's the most hated man in podcasting and comedy, but fucking I've forever been a Brendan Schaub fan. From the UFC to the podcast to, don't get me wrong, his stand-up was never elite, but at least he had a crack. So yeah, and he's just a fucking, you look at his content now and he's just like a wholesome dad, just at everything for his 2 boys. Everything he talks about is just so relatable to me, just with his, like, his wife, his 2 boys, yada, yada, yada. So fuck you guys to all you Brendan Schaub haters. Anyway, let's get back onto my boys. That came out wrong. Let's not do that. That's weird, and you could go to jail. But I was chilling the other day. Parker comes up to me. He goes, Dad, do you have diabetes? No context, no nothing. Just straight out vibes from the kid. And I've looked at him, I'm going, no, I don't think so, buddy. I've been tested. Don't have it. I'm looking at him now like, do you know something I don't know? That kind of thing. And it just made me feel like that. I don't know, whenever I hear the word diabetes, it just takes me back to that South Park episode where it's like, hey, I'm Scott Mackinson. I got a lisp and diabetes. One of the best episodes in history. New South Park season as well. If you guys aren't on that, check it out. It is so fucking funny. The boys are back, pushing the limits. I don't know how they're getting away with half the shit they're talking about this season, but they fucking are. So hats off to those guys. Just speaking out loud, now that we're talking about dream podcast guests, if I ever got those 2 on the podcast, actually, I should look that up. Has Rogan ever had those 2 on his podcast? That's crazy. He should get them on. Anyway, a couple more stories and then we'll get on to my week in comedy. Had basketball again on Saturday. So Westy's first game back in 2 weeks. And we were up in the grandstands and straight away, every fucking sporting event has that guy. I am sitting in front of the annoying uncle. The annoying uncle that's fucking done everything. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to watch Westy. Nikita and Parker go to the little tuck shop thing to get some snacks. I feel a tap on my shoulder, and it's this guy behind me. He goes, hey, how are you, mate? And I've gone, yeah, good, thanks. How are you? He goes, yeah, good. Is your kid playing? And I've gone, would there be any other reason for me to be sitting here if my kid wasn't playing? And I go, yeah, he's out there. I go, is your kid playing? He's like, no, I don't have a kid. I'm watching my niece. Another red flag shoots up. I'm like, okay, you supposed to be here, champ? A lot of red flags popping up. Anyway, I weave my way out of this conversation successfully. He stops talking to me, but I don't escape this guy. He starts talking to the lady next to him, and everything she brings up, they're just talking, and I don't even know how the fuck this came up. Like, this dude was so weird. And the lady goes, oh, yeah, my husband is a dancer or some shit. And he goes, oh, I used to be a world champion salsa dancer. And she's like, oh, really? That's fucking incredible, blah, blah, blah. Then he's like, oh, where are you from? She's like, oh, I'm from Chile. And he's like, oh, I've actually sailed around Chile in my yacht. Everything. He had fucking something for it. And I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. You have not done any of this shit. I'm looking at it. I'm like, dude, you probably don't even have a fucking Corolla out in the car park right now, let alone a yacht. But yeah, fucking creep. This dude was not a world explorer. He's just a creepy uncle just watching under 10s basketball. Like, pipe down, buddy. You're a weirdo, and I'm about to call the fucking police. I feel like I just heard someone knock at my door. That's why I lost my train of thought there for a second. But anyway, the knocking seems to have subsided and my camera didn't go off. So let's go on to our next Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. We've got another banger for you guys. Get ready for one of the best songs ever written.
Touching yourself while you're talking on the phone, wondering why you are alone. You say you're super ugly, I say you're half beautiful.
Jesus Christ. This guy wrote a song that should easily get you put on a list. This dude is like the uncle at Westy's basketball game. Why is touching yourself while you're talking on the phone, how is that even a lyric? Who sits down to write a song? Who sits down to write a song and goes, you know what this song needs? Touching yourself while you're talking on the phone. Jesus Christ, what a fucking weirdo. But anyway, another little story from basketball on the weekend. Why didn't I do this straight after the basketball? Anyway, as we were walking into basketball, they're giving out free ice cream tickets. There was like an ice cream truck there this week. And the boys finished basketball. We go outside. They get their free ice creams. Straight away, Westy has a lick. He's like, oh, I don't really want it. You want it, Mum? So he gives it to Nikita. She has a lick and she's like, yeah, no, I don't really want it either. Straight away, I'm like, okay, it's obviously disgusting ice cream. And she goes, do you want it? And I've gone, oh, give me a taste. So I give this ice cream a lick. Surprisingly not too bad. It's not, don't get me wrong, it wasn't delicious, but it was like, okay, I could eat this. I was a little peckish. It was a sweet little treat. And I've gone, yeah, okay, I could do that. I lick it again. And Nikita goes, yeah, I just couldn't taste it. It just tasted like watered milk. And I've gone, ew, that is the most disgusting fucking phrase I've ever heard. Watered milk instantly made me want to throw up. I was like, yuck. I could not walk that ice cream to the bin fast enough. My stomach was curdling just thinking of the idea that I'd just eaten some watered milk. Oh, God. It sounds like some sort of medieval punishment, just drinking watered milk. Ugh. Feeling yuck just talking about it. But anyway, speaking about drinking shit or eating shit, Nikita comes home on the weekend and Mum got a new puppy a little while ago, a couple months ago or something. Cutest thing you've ever seen, right? And she's been buying it all these like treats and fucking gizmos and gadgets and yada, yada, yada. And she bought it one of those like automated water dishes where it constantly, it's like a water feature, just constantly keeps feeding the water through. And she bought us one as well for our dog. So Nikita goes, oh, can you set this up? So I set it up in the corner of the room for Bailey. And it's set up. We're standing back as a family admiring it, just going, wow, that's pretty fucking cool. And Westy pipes up and he goes, can I drink out of it? And straight away, Nikita and I have just looked at each other before we could even answer him, as if to say, what the fuck did he just ask? And we just both go, all right. Like, that is parenting at its peak. We go, all right. Like, Bailey hadn't drank out of it at this stage, so it's just clean. It's clean water that I just put in there out of a clean drinking fountain. And we just watched our 8-year-old son get down on all fours and just start lapping up water like he's a fucking dog. I'm just standing there watching him lap this water like a fucking parched Labrador. And I'm just looking at him. I'm like, that's 100% something I would have done when I was a kid. Oh, God. I'm excited to see where that kid's future lies. But anyway, let's get on to the last thing. Episode 200, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 199. Episode 200 drops this Thursday. And it was only right that we got the originals back together. Adrian and Ash came on the studio. Yuck, that is disgusting. They probably did. But yes, they came, made the drive here on Saturday, I think it was, and we laid down episode 200. I think we went for about an hour and a half or something. But it genuinely felt like, I looked at the clock, I thought we would have been at about half an hour, and we're already at like an hour 10. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But it was just the good old days of the podcast, just rambling, talking nonsense. It was fucking sick. And I stand on it to this day. If there was some way that the three of us could like stay as the podcast, I feel like that's the perfect podcast to me. But yeah, it was sick. So yeah, that one drops this Thursday. And I was going to say all this shit on there, but it was just like, it was typical old school days where if you said anything with any sort of meaning or emotion or anything, they would have just called me some sort of homophobic slur or something. So I just ended the podcast as per usual. But yeah, just quickly, since I didn't get to do it on episode 200, thank you to all you guys that fucking listen every week. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you to all the people that have jumped on recently. Like I've said, this year has been our biggest year of growth. So I appreciate everyone sharing it. I appreciate fucking everyone rating it, even on socials and shit like that. If you don't listen, but you just like the reels or like the posts, all that shit helps. So thank you very much. I was also going to thank those two homos, but it was just, that's just not our fucking relationship. You know what I mean? Like if I was like, hey, Adrian, thank you very much. Without you two, the podcast, it would literally not exist. I wouldn't have got to episode 2, let alone episode 200, without the help of you two guys. So thank you very much. And then they both would have just stood up and punched me in the dick, or Adrian would have poured his Celsius all over the roadcaster or something. So now that they're not here, thank you two very much. They probably won't even listen to that. But that gets us on to the next couple of weeks. While we're talking about this shit, might as well get it off here. Obviously, we're heading into Christmas and New Year and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not being a softcock podcaster like the rest of the people out there in the world, but I am peeling it back to solo episodes for the Christmas week and the New Year's week. And that is purely because the Thursdays land on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And I would be very skeptical if any of you guys wanted to listen to me on Christmas Day or hungover on New Year's Day. So I will still release solo episodes on the Tuesdays, probably just a quick, short, sharp half an hour check-in, something like that. And then we'll be back to full strength on January, solo episodes, guest episodes, UFC breakdowns, as we have been. So that's basically where we're at with all that. Let's rip into my week in comedy. Only the one gig to talk about, and this was the week. This wasn't the week just gone, this was the week before, but did that new gig up at West End at the Jungle Bar. So actually fucking unreal. Cool little room, super small, super tight. Everyone was crammed, packed together. Like the first row was like touching the stage, it's sick. It was so dark in there. Unreal little vibe, and just zero dead air. To be honest, there was probably only like 20 people in there, but it just felt perfect, okay? And surprisingly, I just went to the gig. I didn't rehearse any of my gear. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go up there and I'm just going to see what the fuck happens. So everything was fresh, everything was new, and it was probably the best I've felt on stage in months, to be honest. The crowd was engaging. I was getting big laughs. It was a sick night all round. So if you're in the West End area or Brisbane, go check out that gig, the Jungle Bar. I don't even know how, I think it might be once a month, but don't quote me. Go give them a follow and I'm sure they'll fill you in. But the other thing I did, which I figured I'd just cram in this little segment, is I streamed for the IBC, for their IBC O2 event. So obviously had Dan on here about a month ago, who's the founder and president of the IBC. And he invited me to go and live stream the event. And I'm pretty sure I actually told you guys about that on the last solo episode we did together. So look, I fucking loved it. It was sick. I had an awesome seat. Like I rocked up there. I'm like, Dan, where am I sitting? He goes, oh, right there in that booth. So I had like a whole fucking VIP booth to set up all my shit however I wanted. And lined up a couple of guests and shit like that. And it was probably the most fun I have had since starting comedy and podcasting. Like sitting there, watching the live fights, just commentating on them, bantering with the live chat. Had a couple of guests on. So I think I had like 5 guests lined up, but only 2 came on, purely because like the other guests were DMing me and stuff. They're like, where are you? We can't find you. And it was too much to run all the gear, keep the chat engaged, commentate on the fights. It was just so much going on. But I've sat down, I've worked out a plan for IBC 03, which I'll also be streaming from down on the Gold Coast. And it's just going to be so much better. I think I'm probably going to engage a co-host or 2 as well as the guests, just so that they can be running all that side of things while I can just be trying to be like the entertaining voice. I think it's just going to be absolutely unreal. So thanks to Rob from Bloke's Advice coming on for a chat, and Kyle Vanderpoel. We finally met in person. He's the one that's been chirping on all my boxing videos as of late. And yeah, he came on, we had a laugh. So it was good to finally meet him in person. And yeah, I know a lot of podcasts after that event jumped on the bandwagon. They started spruiking up the IBC, which, don't get me wrong, fucking all the eyes we can get to the event, but obviously made me stress a little bit as a small eye. So I was talking to Dan last week just about what I can do for the next streams and blah, blah, blah. And I was basically like, oh, just don't forget who your first podcast was, just as a bit of a friendly jab. And yeah, thankfully he just goes, oh, mate, as long as the IBC's around, you've got a seat at the table. Don't fucking stress. And I was like, oh, thank fuck. So on that, hopefully I'm like a full-time member of the IBC family. So I've had a couple of fighters that are tentatively penciled in for IBC 03. I don't know if they stumbled across my stream or they saw the shit that I was tagging the IBC in, but they've reached out and asked to be guests on the podcast leading up to IBC 03, which is sick. Hopefully I can become like the official IBC podcast, if you will. But yeah, things are happening, guys. I feel like I'm in a good space at the moment with podcasting. I will admit, stand-up has taken a slight backseat just while I've been getting the wheels turning on the whole podcasting front. But yeah, 2026, we've got some big plans. Might touch on that a little more next week just because I don't have everything firmed up. We did, on episode 200, we did touch on it a little bit, so you guys will get a bit of a glimpse on that one. But yeah, we'll firm things up on next week's episode. Let's play our last Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip.
Can you have beef with me and you don't even have beef in your refrigerator? That's why you mad, cause you hungry. Thank you.
What the fuck is that lady doing? Just roasting someone and then thanking yourself after you roast them? That is some fucking crazy shit. She is out there. But in my time off from stand-up over the last couple of weeks, like I said, I only had the one gig and the IBC live stream. I've managed to squeeze in a few more things to watch, it's been good for the brain just to chill out on the couch and just watch a couple of things. So I'm not going to go too in-depth about each one. I will just give a quick, would I recommend it or wouldn't I recommend it kind of recap. Okay, first one. I watched Kevin Hart's new special on Netflix called Acting My Age. Now, you guys know me. I am a huge Kevin Hart fan. One of the big guns that got me into stand-up, things like that. And this was the first special. Don't get me wrong. I still laughed. I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. But it was the first special where I just sort of sat back and I go, well, it kind of just feels like a mashup of all your other specials. It felt like all your other jokes just restructured with new names, new fucking settings, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it was still funny, but it just felt a bit done. And I fucking hate myself for saying that because, as I said, I'm a huge Kevin Hart fan, but I just know there's going to be other people that criticize him, and I watched it trying to be, like, supportive. I was trying to be a supportive husband to Kevin Hart. But, hey, just my opinion. If you guys don't agree, let me know in the comments. The next one I watched was Ed Sheeran's little thing on Netflix. I think it was called, like, One Take or One Shot or something like that. I fucking love that. That was so sick to me. So it's basically Ed Sheeran, and the whole thing was just filmed on one shot. It's him at soundcheck for his show in New York. So he's doing soundcheck, sings a song on stage, and then he goes, all right, walks off stage, out into the streets of New York, jumps in a yellow taxi, plays a song in the cab. Then he goes to like a surprise proposal, plays a song to them while they're proposing. Then he goes to a surprise birthday party. It's just following him, this whole little journey through New York, just in one shot of him just playing acoustic songs of his own songs. And I just fucking loved it. Obviously, I'm an Ed Sheeran fanboy, and it was a cool concept. And yeah, so I would recommend go check that one out. I'll take a little sip and we'll keep going. So another stand-up special I watched, Matt Rife's Christmas comedy special. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. I went into this one, I didn't go into it wanting to hate it, but I was just like, okay, I'm not a huge Christmas fan. Matt Rife's specials that I have watched haven't really tickled me too much. Like, don't get me wrong, the dude is an absolute fucking wizard at crowd work. But he's like written material. it's good, but it's like fucking, I don't know. It's not really my thing. Okay. If that makes sense. But yeah, I actually did fucking enjoy this one just as I wasn't 100% engaged. Like I was still scrolling on my phone and shit at the same time, but there was moments in it, like especially crowd work moments and stuff where it did make me chuckle. So check that one out if you're looking for something to play in the background. And then the last thing, the big one that everyone's talking about, Stranger Things Season 5. Are they calling it like Part 1 or something? Because I know the other half of Season 5 drops on Christmas Eve or some shit. But my Lord, it took me maybe 15 minutes of the first episode of just sitting there trying to remember what the fuck happened on the last season, trying to get back into the story and stuff. But about 15 minutes in, I was hooked. Nikita and I had to binge that shit. So good. Such a good season. And yeah, just, I don't know what else I can say about it. Just go fucking check it out if you've seen the other seasons of Stranger Things. So I'm excited to see where they take that for the remainder of season 5. And yeah, is this the last season? Hopefully this is the last season. I don't know if I can keep up with watching these series and shit like that. Now the last things I'll touch on this week, UFC 323 went down yesterday afternoon. My God, what a fucking card to wrap up the UFC year with. It, like I said in the breakdown, it was a bit of a sleeper card. There was no real like blockbuster names and things like that on it. Obviously, the regular watchers of the UFC know that there were some killers on there, but in terms of like real star power and shit like that, didn't really have much of it. So I was blown away with some of the fights we did see. The first one I'll talk about, I struggled to say this guy's name on the breakdown, and I'll still get it wrong. Iwo Baranowski, he is a fucking problem at light heavyweight. That fight, that 90-second period, even him and his opponent, give his opponent some props as well. That 90 seconds, if you're trying to get someone into the UFC, go and play that for them. They are just swinging for the fences. They obviously watched IBC last week, and they were like, okay, the UFC needs a little bit of this shit. So let's go in there and just try and knock each other's fucking heads off. So shout out to that guy. Henry Cejudo retires again. I think this is definitely it for him. He just had to come back and prove something to himself. So he suffered a loss to Peyton Talbot, but my God, what a fighter. He's been in there. He's done it all. He's won the double champ status. He was an Olympic champion. There's nothing else for him to fucking prove. So shout out to Henry Cejudo on a great career in the UFC. And then our boy, Joshua Van, gets it done. Now, is it the way you want it to go down? No, not at all. It's not how you want to win a championship, but he got it. No matter how you win it at the end of the day, if that belt's around your waist, you're the fucking champion, no matter what anyone says. So, Pantoja ended up snapping his elbow on a pretty nasty fall. So, the fight was called. And yeah, our boy, Joshua Van, you guys know I've been a huge fan of his for a while. Gets the win, gets the belt. I would imagine they're going to have to run that back. But like Dana said in the press conference, that is probably going to be a pretty lengthy recovery period for Pantoja to come back from. So yeah, we'll see where all that goes. Then the main event, holy shit. Peter Yan. I'm not going to try and say his name the way you're meant to say it in Russian, like Peter Yan or whatever it is. But Peter Yan winds back the clock. Vintage. Fucking dominates Marab. I did not see this going down as the last fight of the UFC. I'll put my hand up. Obviously, if you stand back and look at it, a complete possibility of this happening. You'd be an idiot to go, nah, no way this could happen. And I think I even said that in the breakdown, that there was no way this could happen. Peter Yan comes out, and he is 5 years ago, Peter Yan, when he first won the title, dominates Marab. We have not seen Marab like that ever, potentially ever. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I think it comes down to, yes, Peter Yan put on an absolute clinic. Shout out to him. Completely deserved to win that belt back yesterday. But on the same page, Marab trying to defend his belt 4 times in a year, I think we saw the threshold. That is probably too many times in a calendar year to try and defend your championship belt. So that's a cool statistic I saw after the fights. That means that every male belt changed hands in 2026, which is pretty wild that we've got all new champions this year. So it just shows how competitive the UFC is at the moment. If you're looking to become a UFC fan, now is the perfect moment. We're in that like limbo period where we're trying to find our next range of superstars and things like that. So jump on now, find someone you fucking like, and who knows, they could be champion this time next year. But the last thing, they stopped broadcasting yesterday to announce the full UFC 325 Sydney card. My God, they have definitely gone, okay, we struggled to sell tickets in UFC Perth a couple months ago. We owe the Australian fans. What are we going to do? Let's stack this fucking card to its eyeballs. My Lord. Okay, we kick off with what got announced last week. We got Volkanovski, the Australian GOAT, defending his belt against Diego Lopez. Banger fight straight off the bat. Okay, sign me up. I'll go to Sydney just for that. Then they announced the co-main yesterday. Dan the Hangman Hooker, certified banger from New Zealand. There has never been a boring Dan Hooker fight up against the French fucking Special Forces beast of Benoit Saint-Denis. Oh my God, is that going to be a fight? Are we going to get fight of the year in fucking February between those two just going in there to absolutely slog at each other? And then the UFC goes, oh, you want to know the fight underneath that one? Okay, I know. The main event, certified banger. Both those two are going to rip each other's heads off. Okay, the co-main, just as vicious. So fucking aggressive. Oh, okay, here you go, Sydney. Why don't you have two of our current best strikers in Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Ruffy? My God, two absolute bangers just going to throw down in Sydney. Then, to sprinkle a couple more just cherries on top, we have Tai Tuivasa back in action. Here's the one that I said in last week's breakdown that I don't know if I can expose that he is fighting in February. So we've got our boy, Tai Tuivasa. He is on the card. We've got Jimmy Crute on the card. We've got Junior Tafa back in action. And we've got the dude that shocked the world only about a month or two ago, Killian Salkeed, back in action to cap off the prelims. My God, UFC Sydney, you've got to fucking be there. If there is any way I can possibly be there, I mean, it's February 1st, so it's my dad's birthday, so I've got to ask a couple of favors and go, hey, hey, Dad, you mind if I call you this year for your birthday? But fuck me. UFC Sydney, if you're not there, what are you fucking doing with your lives? So I am trying to save every penny that I've got at the moment to get myself there, but we'll see how we go. Maybe I'll start a podcasting GoFundMe. Anyway, guys, things to plug this week. I've got no gigs this week. The only thing I've got to plug, I mean, we're in that period where things are winding down and I'm soaking it up, to be honest. The brain is feeling refreshed. I'm taking that little step away from stand-up. I've still got those one gig popping up every now and then, but the only one I've got to plug, our final West Park show for the year, Sunny's at Margate, December 20th. And that is going to be a 7 p.m. show because they've got a Christmas party up on the rooftop during the day. And my God, the comedians I have for this lineup, it is going to be our most stacked Sunny's lineup to date. So if there's still tickets, come along to that one. I'll be emceeing that one. Other than that, guys, just want to say again, thank you for listening to me dribble for 200 episodes. I genuinely appreciate it. Without you guys, I would not fucking sit here and talk to myself. Other than that, if you want to send submissions, send them via DM on Instagram or by email at can'tgetanywOrsePod@gmail.com. I appreciate you all. Share it around. Keep rating it. Keep fucking, I don't know, tell someone at Christmas lunch about the podcast this year. But that has been another episode of the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. I appreciate you all, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. It's always